I'd like to show you how to use your embossing powders to create a deep impression into the molten embossing powders. In order to do this technique, I've pulled out our chunky clear embossing powder, and also I'm using the Stampendous tiled quad cube, and then the Recollections embossing powders in the pearls. This is sapphire and this is blueberry, and I've used both of them in this wonderful technique that you'll see in a minute. So I've started with a little wooden snowflake, and I'm going to cover the entire surface of it with the Versamark ink. This is a slow drying clear ink, and a layer of that will now attract the powder. I'm using the chunky clear, and the purpose of this is to have all of the powder attached to this layer, and this will give me the thickest coverage. If this first layer is still molten, we'll turn it over and see if we can grab another layer of the chunky clear. That's looking pretty good. We'll heat it again, building up a second layer. Handle it carefully, but while it's still molten, pick it up, and we're going to now add the sapphire. This is a pearl embossing powder, and we might add one color on one side, and if it's still warm enough, we'll add the blueberry on the other side. While that is still molten, we're going to stamp into it, pressing the stamp right down one time in the middle. And sometimes, depending on how warm it is, you actually let it cool a bit before releasing it. And there you get a beautiful texture pattern created right into the molten embossing powder. This is what we call the deep impression technique.